Hello everyone, welcome back to this voice modulation workshop. My name is Savi and today I will teach you how feminizing or how you can masculinize your voice using some methods and sound-based exploration, using also some methodology and a little explanation of what the voice is and how it functions. First and foremost, I do need to make clear that voice is quite finicky and that voice can be quite fragile. So please, when you want to do any kind of voice training, drink water at least 10 to 15 minutes before doing any voice work, and be sure to warm up your voice. That means to use your voice gently, and we have some sounds that are better for warming up than others, so we'll be seeing those in a little bit. Certain things you might want to know about is that certain medications are known to be dehydrating to the voice. Typically, spironolactone is typically what we can find in some kind of HRTs, so be sure that if you take such treatments or any other kind of medication that you check in that it might not affect your voice and just dehydrate your body in general. Of course, if you take that medication, don't stop, just maybe try to work around it. If you take the medication in the morning, prefer doing the voice work in the evening, and vice versa, so on and so forth. Find your own little schedule. Everyone's voice journey is going to be different, and that goes for the practice as well. With that being said, of course, certain substances are not great with voice. So if you smoke or if you drink coffee or if you drink alcohol, typically all of these things will tend to dry up your voice. And so this is something that you want to be careful with and, try to work around it the same way. Of course, if you drink some coffee and go into voice training, it's not the end of the world. Same for all the other ones. Ooh, sorry. But be sure to hydrate properly and to, respect your voice. And when your voice starts to become tired or starts to lose some of the higher notes or higher pitches, typically, maybe it's best to just chill out for the day and keep going on a later time. Voice training is not a sprint, it is a marathon, and I know it's hard to hear, but it took me about 1 or 2 years to find my voice. Some people can find it much faster, some people can find it much slower. It really depends on your progress and what is your attunement to your voice, and so on and so forth. Okay, that's about it on what voice is about and on some things to be careful with. So voice is about sound. So how does that sound get created? We are going to see here really quickly the power source filter model. This model aims to break down the voice and the function of it in 3 main categories. First of all, we have the power, which is the air in our lungs. That air will move up and reach what we call the larynx. The larynx you can find behind your Adam's apple. We also call this Adam's apple the laryngeal cartilage, for a more scientific term. But basically, behind that cartilage, you'll find this voice box. And within that voice box is produced the source sound. Now, the source sound, what does it do? The source sound is just the vibration of the vocal folds. They come in, they come apart, and they do this several hundred times per second from bottom to top because the airflow comes from below. And so they vibrate and they create a source sound. But that's just a sound because that sound will need to have a shape. And that shape is exactly what happens later through the filter because it moves up into what we call the vocal tract. Now, the vocal tract is a series of tubes, a tube of your mouth, a tube of your nose, and a tube at the back of your throat. So that's the pharynx, that's the nasal cavity, and here, that's the mouth cavity. And all of these together are used all the time by all of us by shaping our lips, our tongue, by letting some sound go through our nose, more or less. We get different vowel sounds, and this is already changing the shape of the sound. So yes, it's one core sound that's getting modulated all the time, so we kind of already do this. But when it comes to voice feminization or masculinization, we actually aim to reduce or increase this space here by lowering or raising the larynx. And by doing so, we can get quite some modulation from this type of voice to this type of voice. And so by modifying these things, we can get quite a big change and shift in our voices. So again, to make sure everyone's is on board, we have air. Air goes up. Vocal folds vibrate thanks to the air. They make a sound. The sound is shaped and modified here. And depending on what size and shape you can have a really dark voice or a really bright voice. So let's talk a little bit about what exactly we're trying to do here. Most of us want to fit the binary, not by choice for most of us, I would say, more so to just like for social acceptation and just ease of use of the voice in society. But there is one biological component we want to be working on, and that is the hormones, typically testosterone. Testosterone is the main hormone that differentiates the voice. Of course, there's a lot of social aspects as well that will differentiate the voice, such as intonation, prosody, choice of words, etc. But that's not what this is about. This is about the core modification of testosterone. Testosterone does three things to your voice. Let's pretend I am someone pre-puberty before testosterone hits me. So my voice is like all the way up here, and three things happen. First of all, my Adam's apple, so my larynx, will
drop, which will give me a really dark voice. Then second, my vocal folds, which vibrate really fast, they start to become longer and they start to vibrate a lot slower. And as a result, you already hear quite a masculine voice. The third thing, however, that happens with testosterone is the same as with the rest of the body. We buff up, we get more muscle. And with that extra muscle, the voice becomes more buzzy, more boomy, and boom, just like that, you went from a really,
soft and gentle femme voice to
a really big, boomy, dark masc voice.
And so, in the case of voice feminization, so in my case, you would have to kind of reverse engineer. You have all the tools at your disposal, so you just have to learn how to use them differently. Raise your larynx, achieve a smaller vocal tract size. If your vocal folds are really thick, try to like soften them. So by like reducing how much muscle involvement there is in there. And go for a higher pitch, generally speaking. But this really depends on what your baseline is and where you're starting from. And for those who are interested in voice masculinization, it might be a bit more tricky. Yes, I won't lie, testosterone is a cheat code to masc voice because it does unlock more access to more vocal fold mass, and it does make the vocal folds longer more easily. But with some practice and training, you can find that there's a lot that you can do to make your voice lower and to mimic the effects of testosterone in your voice, even if it's not as present as with someone just like me who has had testosterone affect their vocal tracts. Now, that's pretty much it about voice. If you want to make your voice masculine, you gotta
lower your larynx, you gotta make the pitch go lower, and you gotta make your voice as thick as you can.
At least that is if you want to explore the extremes of masc voice. And for a voice feminization, opposite way around. Raise your larynx, achieve a higher pitch by vibrating the vocal folds faster, and go for a softer sound if you started with a heavier sound from the get-go. So that's pretty much it. That's just how voice functions. So now let's do some vocal warm-up. What I want you to do, for those who want to partake in this, but I highly encourage to do this together with me, you can unmute your mics and we'll be doing some warm-ups together. These sounds aim at creating a pressure at the level of the mouth as to fight against the pressure in our lungs. Remember, the vocal folds vibrate from bottom to top, so adding pressure above here by zzz, closing the mouth a little bit, like with the Z sound, or like with the O, with like the shape in an O shape of your lips, we kind of create a counter pressure that helps alleviate most of the pressure from the lungs. I said most, it's mostly just a little bit of pressure that's being alleviated. So let's do a few like these. All right, I'll go first, and then you can try and mimic after me. All right, on an O sound, as in the word old. Let's try this together in 3, 2, 1. Very good. Now let's try a Z sound, as in the word zoo. I go first. Let's all try this together in 3, 2, 1. Very good. This next one might sound a little bit funny. We're gonna bubble trill our lips, like so. I go first. Let's try this all together in 3, 2, 1. Okay, good job. And with that done, please mute your mics again, and I'll move on to the next part of this workshop. For those who are new and are not familiar with how this little workshop format works, I try to get up on stage 2 people who wants to feminize their voices and 2 people who wants to masculinize their voices. So today I'm going to start with a masc voice. Last time we started with fem voice, so masc voice today. If you want to partake and move up on stage and do some practice with me, please jump in place, raise your hand, or use the hand emoji. All right, this is for masc voice. I'm seeing here over there, Dreamel Arch. Yes? Have you already been on stage before? Last time, would you mind giving your place to someone who hasn't been there before? Thank you. Tad Too Lazy. Have you already been on stage before? Nope. All right, then come up on stage. Come on, come on, come on. Everyone give a big round of applause to Tad Too Lazy. Woo! All right, hi, welcome.
Hello.
Hello, hi. Tad Lazy, what do I call you? Tad 2? I don't know.
You can just call me Tad. Tad's fine.
Tad's amazing. All right. I got a timer set up because I am horrible at keeping track of time. But welcome on stage. So, is this the first time ever that you are in one of these workshops? Or have you already been around and...
I think I've seen one before. I was at the last one, but I didn't go on stage because I was too nervous.
It's okay. I'm glad you're able to do this. So welcome. So
Thank you.
you already are somewhat familiar with the concepts we discussed. I mean, if you were there from the start.
Yeah.
So to maximize your voice, we got to do 3 things. Lower your pitch, make the
Vocal tract as big and as long as possible.
well, not as long and as big as possible, but at least towards there, and trying to go for a heavier sound.
Yeah.
Especially if your voice is really quiet and gentle, you might want to have a bit more mass to like really get that masc voice out. Otherwise, it might be a little bit kind of chill, which honestly is a vibe I can like vibe with, but like it depends on what your vocal objectives are. Okay, so first and foremost, have you already done some practice of your own? Have you already, would you say that you already have done some voice work and you have like a voice to go to? I mean, to be fair, I'm already hearing like something quite androgynous, so maybe you did start.
Oh, thank you. Well, I think I've just got a bit of a deep-ish voice. I wouldn't really say I've ever actually done any proper voice training.
Yeah, honestly, like, I would say, honestly, your gender is really hard to read, if I'm completely honest with you. So
Thank you.
it's already getting there. So I'm guessing that you probably have already quite a low baseline. I want to see though what it sounds like when you do a drop from your highest pitch
Ooh, okay.
down to your lowest pitch. Give it a try.
Okay. Oh.
Okay, all the way down to C3 from what I've heard. This means that, you know, C3 is like really, really low for a femme voice, by the way. Like,
Yes.
like, okay, just to give you an example, like, speaking of like strictly C3 in a femme voice is like pretty low for a femme voice. So that's actually a really good start for masc voice. Although you'll have to see if you can reliably use it. That might be tricky yet. In theory, if you can get a lot of vocal fold mass and a really big vocal tract,
You should be able to get something like this.
if you do everything right on the other end. So there is possibilities. That's a real good pitch to reach. Okay, so then next part, really important, is to increase the size of your larynx. You don't increase the size of your larynx, you drop your larynx and you achieve a bigger vocal tract like this. So how do we do this? First of all, I need you to use your hand and put it on your neck gently. Don't press down or anything. I want you to try and find the little bump on your neck. That is your laryngeal
Okay.
cartilage. And it might be more or less prominent with people. It doesn't even really depend on the voice types. But yeah, like, do you feel that bump there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So then in that case, what I want you to do is just like lay it there and just have it kind of like track where it is. And as you have it there, I want you to kind of give me a whisper on the word pat, as in saying pat that cat. It should sound something
Okay.
like pat. Try it out. Very good. And now I want to take the pat and make it sound darker and darker and darker. So effectively, it's going to sound like this. Pat, pat,
Pat, pat, pat, pat that cat.
give it a try.
Pat, 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 pat. That's as low as I can go.
Okay, very good. So we went from pa 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 pa.
Pa, pa. It's already quite big. Pa, pa, pa.
Okay, so we can have already quite some darkness in there. The next part is we want to bridge from that whisper that's really dark to a pitch that's low. And so then we have a dark and lower pitched voice. Remember the C3 you did before? Can you try and mimic my pitch here? Ah. Yes, very good. So in your case currently, it sounds like this. Ah. You can tell it's kind of bright. Ah, right? There's a lot of emphasis in the higher frequencies. But now we take that pitch and we apply the filter change. Pa, 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 pa. Then we bridge to that pitch we had.
Pa, 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 pat that cat.
Give it a try. Yeah, like just like that. You did go a little bit brighter, but it's not as bright as before, so it's like a little bit bigger.
But I know you can go darker.
So that's pretty good. So what I would recommend you do is like step one, pa, 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 to really dark. Then as you do this, I want you to like with your hand, kind of like tell me, do you feel the larynx going down? Do you feel it shift lower?
Yeah.
Very good. So now as you shift that lower, pa, 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 pa,
I want you to pause,
just not do any sound at all.
but just like try to keep it there. Just by keeping it there with the muscles, right?
Okay.
Right? Just try to get used to that. Like just try to keep it low. And then just
Let it revert to whatever you speak with.
What?
Yes. And then just like think about what it felt like. Low larynx. Maybe you might feel the skin around your collarbone shift a bit because like it's going lower.
Yeah.
And then
uh
try to phonate directly through that position.
Oh.
Yeah.
Uh.
Yes. Very good. And with that, can you say
pat that cat.
At that cat.
there you go? That's so good. Okay. That's solid. I want to do this real quick with you. Just a little sentence.
Pat that cat.
Just that is already really good. Can I hear it again?
Pat that cat.
At that cat.
Yeah, you're natural at this. Hell yeah. All right, and now from here, I want you to try and read that sentence.
Pat that cat monotonously, so ba that mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That. Oh. That mat
Take your time.
brat sat on that flat mat.
Now, it did get a little bit brighter from
That mad brat
to that mad brat, so it's kind of starting to move back up to like the brighter, higher position of your larynx, right? But that's really good, right? Like that first one you had
Pat that cat.
is good. Now, one thing you might notice is that your voice wants to, it wants to go back up, right? It wants to go to where it's used to be used.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's kind of the gravity of behavior, or like the pull of behavior. You are more likely to like go to whatever your old ways are, and so you kind of have to fight this consciously a little bit until it becomes normal to like
Speak like this, right? Like,
I I don't
Yeah.
wake up speaking like,
oh, what a good day to get my voice set up again.
you know, I wake up like this, right? Because my body's just like, ah, yes, that's the default, right? And I actually kind of struggle to just go for a mask voice. I mean, not really, because that's what I do, but, you know, like for most people, it's like, they just use the fem voice, so it's like, why would the brain care to remember that? I guess it's like the bike, you don't really lose a posture, but practice does make perfect and does make more consistent. Okay, so let's try it once more.
Just try to like lean into that. Try to go back there silently like you did before. And then try to go. That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That Matt Brat sat on that flat mat.
Ah, solid, nice. And then you can try to do like a slight shift, like maybe start slightly higher, like
Ba 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 ba. And from here, that mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That Matt Brat sat on that flat mat.
ah, very good. It did go lower in pitch, but that mat
Sat on that flat mat.
it kind of went brighter at the end, right? So not quite perfect yet. And as the pitch moves around, you notice that, you know, your old ways kick back in. So with some practice, I'm sure you will get some great voice already just by keeping your voice monotonous and leaning into that bigger vocal tract size with that C3 of yours. And maybe with practice, you could go down in the second octave. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, like this is really encouraging. Very good stuff. Yeah, Tad, keep that up. It's really good, honestly. You got it.
Thank you so much.
Now it's a matter of consistency and practice. Record yourself, listen back to yourself, and try to tune your voice until you get there. All right, everyone, give a big round of applause to Tad to Lazy. Woo! For someone called Lazy, that was a lot of work put into the voice. Anyways, next up on stage, I want to see someone who wants to learn how to feminize their voices. Jump in place, raise your hand, or use the hand emoji. All right, I got Azani Luna. You are the quickest. Have you already been on stage before? No. All right, come up on stage. Big applause to Azani Luna. Woo! Did I butcher the name? I butchered the name, didn't I? Ooh,
Don't worry, it's
cool.
It's Asani. You could just call me Luna
Asani.
though. It's easier. Luna
All
is
right,
easier.
let's go for Luna is easier. No, I'm kidding. Let's go for Luna. All right, I set up the time for you. You are already familiar with all of the concepts of voice?
Yeah. Aside from
Alright.
this, I've taken 4 years of theater.
Oh my god. Okay, theater is great for enunciation and carrying your voice over. And acting does definitely help get into the mood of things. So let's get you to act like your proper self, I suppose. Or your best version of self. I don't know what it is you want to do with your voice. Do you already have a femme voice that you already started practicing on? Or would you say you're completely beginning?
I've got one I've been working on. This is the one I usually use.
This is very good, actually. I have one I'm working on. This is one I usually use. This is already really solid. All right, so I'm supposing I will just test your voice with this. Has the slide loaded for you on the board?
It has.
All right.
It has.
What if you did it in your fan voice? It has.
It has.
Cool. Let's try to keep it to your fan voice because might as well try to challenge the consistency of it, right?
I got that.
All right, very good. So, from here, I want you to try and read that first sentence in your current femme voice. Just give it your best.
Hello. Good morning. How are you?
Interesting first thing I hear. Hello.
Oh.
Good morning. How are you? Not an occurrence in the rest of the sentence, but on hello, you notice this hello,
Oh.
right? Your vocal tract got bigger, your Adam's apple probably dropped as you went from this really high pitch, hello, to a really low pitch, and it kind of accompanied with a lowering of the larynx. So let's try this again. Hello. But this time try to stay small and bright as you reach for that lower pitch. Give it a
Hello,
try.
good morning. How are you?
Okay, this time you did hello, good morning, how are you? So you didn't go as low in pitch and you avoided the darkening of the voice. So, in a sense, that works. But I have one gripes against it. Mainly that if you do speak like that, you might cut yourself completely off of the lower pitches in your range. This is entirely up to you. If you want to go for a higher fem voice, this is not going to be an issue. But you might want to find more intonation at higher pitches, in which case you might want to work on extending your higher pitch range and stuff like that. So I guess this is a good question for you. Do you have a specific goal voice in mind? You already have this strong baseline, so where do you want to take it?
Sorry, someone was doing something. What was that? The last part?
Sorry, what I was saying is you already have a really strong baseline. Where do you want to take your voice? Higher in pitch or lower in pitch, or you're happy where it is?
I do want to get a bit higher, but right now I'm pretty satisfied.
Okay, good. You know that you got a fem voice, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Not like I'm just has higher fem voice. Okay, cool. So let's try just that. Could you read that next sentence with your voice, please?
Fem voice or regular voice?
Fem voice. We don't want to work on your regular voice, do you?
I'll have a cup of coffee, please.
I'll have a cup of coffee, please. Okay, very good. This is the fourth octave, C4, also leaning a bit A3. That's quite high. I would say like it's a medium to high fem voice, leaning mostly high, I would say. This is already very good. Maybe a little bit flat intonation-wise. You have, I'll have a cup of coffee, please. Maybe a more intonated version would fit your liking better. I just offer this because it's like right now you are kind of like in the polishing phase of things, I would say. So I'll have a cup of coffee, please. Maybe you could try something like, I'll have a cup of coffee, please. Give it a try.
I'll have a cup of coffee, please.
So now we have, I'll have a cup of coffee, please. You did match my rhythm, but not quite the pitch. I'll have a cup of coffee, please. What happens if you try to go higher in pitch? Give me an O sound, as in the word old, and do the following. Oh. Try it out. Nice. Oh.
Oh, very nice looks.
Okay. Oh. Okay, so you have all of this range available. Why is it not showing up in your fan voice? Real question, it's like it's there, so how about we try this? I'll have a cup.
I'll have a cup.
Very good. I'll have a cup. Very nice. I'll have a cup. So let's try to make it more natural. I'll have a cup. There we go.
I'll have a cup.
Very good. Careful here though, you do this. I'll have a cup. It's kind of heavy a little bit. I'll have a cup. Instead, try to go more for a softer version. I'll have a cup.
I'll have a cup.
Okay, I'll have a cup. Okay. We are indeed getting a much wider intonation, but we are still like at C4 as a pitch ceiling. Just so you know, I'm just loading the slide real quick. Your current fan voice is kind of laying around here. So that's kind of what I said when I meant like medium-high pitch range. And you might want to go higher, like that's B3. I'll have 4, I'll have a cup of coffee, please. Right now, you're kind of like staying at C4 at the maximum. Yet, when you slid up in pitch, you are going all the way up to here, around this area. So, like, it's pitches that are also available in your range, so let's try to use it. I know this is a bit difficult because right now I have like a pitch monitoring software, so I'm kind of cheating. This helps a lot. So if you don't have like a musical ear to be precise with the pitches, it can be quite tricky. But okay, I think, okay, let's try this. Match my voice. I'll have a cup.
I'll have a cup.
Good, let's go up in pitch. Ba da la la. D4.
La, la, la.
I'll have a cup.
I'll have a cup.
Ah, you're here. I'll have a cup. I'll have a cup. Slightly higher.
I'll have a cup.
Yes. I'll have a cup. This is E4.
I'll have a cup.
No, you're here. I'll have a cup. I'll have a cup.
I'll have a cup.
So right here, we know that something is happening. You can't go higher unless you're singing the note. You're kind of stuck with this like, I'll have a cup. This in singing is what we would call belting. It's used a lot in theater actually to like project your voice, you know? You would like go from a low pitch to this really loud sound that sounds very textured. But in reality, when you go for these high pitches, you don't need that much texture. You're fine going for a cup of coffee instead of a cup of coffee, right? It doesn't sound like you're straining. It sounds a bit more natural, like it's kind of just easy for you to do. So for this, you kind of want to learn to let go of that vocal fold mass. By vocal fold mass, I mean quite literally, your vocal folds are like little flaps of flesh, right? And there's some muscle to them. So these muscles can be really tense, like when you're angry. Oh, I'm so mad. You have a lot of vocal weight to your voice. You might already know about this if you act some emotions in theater. But if you want to soften your voice, you basically want to push less air, at least in the first time, just to kind of learn the configuration. So, I'll have a cup of coffee. And then from there, you can start to increase your voice again. In terms of weight, maybe slightly, and mostly in terms of loudness, by better closing the vocal folds and adding more air gradually. So let's try this. Mimic after me. Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh, slightly higher. Oh,
Ooh.
oh, yes. Keep it there. Oh,
Ooh.
very good. And from here, I'll have a cup.
I'll have a cup.
Good. Now, I'll have a cup. Let's try. I'll have a cup.
I'll have a cup.
And up. I'll have a cup.
I'll have a cup.
Good. I'll have a cup.
I'll have a cup.
Not quite. I'll have... It's D4 this time. Okay, I'm going to give that one to you. It's not exactly the pitch we aimed for, but it is getting over your limit. That's good. I'll have a cup. Okay, very good. Awesome. So you start to see how when you go to higher pitches, you kind of have to let go of that vocal weight. It's literally a mechanism change. Yes, when our vocal folds vibrate, they can vibrate in different mechanisms. Typically M1, sorry, which is our modal voice. That's the one I used to speak here. That's can overlap over higher pitches. So typically you can have like a pitch in M1, but that same pitch in M2, do you hear the difference? M1, M2, M2 is always lighter, has like a bit less texture to it. It's softer sounding, and it's much easier to do higher pitches in M2 than it is to do them in M1. You have experience with projecting your voice, and it shows. You're able to go to high pitches without letting your voice flip into that mechanism. It might guarantee more consistency, but it also makes your voice strangely way too textured for these higher pitches. I'll have a cup of coffee instead of I'll have a cup of coffee, right? Which sounds a little bit more natural. So yeah, it's a matter of like juggling between switching between those mechanisms from M1 to M2, from your modal voice to your falsetto. And yeah, honestly, when it comes to your voice, I would say you have a really strong baseline. Watch out for when you speak naturally, your intonation has a tendency to go hello, right? Hello. When you go too low in pitch, you kind of trigger back that
Increase in vocal size.
And when we tried to go into higher pitches, you kind of like got stuck at C4 as a pitch, as kind of like a soft limit. And I think it's that limit of like, okay, it's more stable for me to be in M1 or to be in your modal voice, so you kind of don't want to go above that. But it's possible to go above it. Like, you can mask that break. You don't ever necessarily have to go, oh, hello, I'll have a cup of coffee, please. Right? We can mask that break by learning to let our voice go softer. And thus achieve a, I'll have a cup of coffee, please. For example, that last attempt you did before did go up to D4. I know you can go up to F4 quite reliably without being too breathy. So try exploring a little bit those higher pitches and try incorporating them to your voice. Your current fem voice is pretty high in pitch, remember? You are around here when you speak in your fem voice. So that's C4 and B3 right there. One of the issues with having a high-pitched voice, if you don't use all of this, is that you're just going to keep staying with like a fairly monotonous voice, right? You're going to be like, hello, good morning, how are you? Like, not a lot of variation as you move up and down in pitch, but a lot of what makes a voice feel natural is that ability to move up and down and have a wide range. And this is why sometimes going for a lower voice is easier, because if I go for a really low voice, then I can have a crazy amplitude for like expression, right? Similarly, you know, if I'm higher up here, I might want to, you know, work more on those higher pitches to make that part of my range. So if you want to go for a higher voice, my recommendation is to work on achieving these higher pitches and doing so in a more soft and gentle manner that doesn't sound too textured or too heavy, right? So just like we did before, by like doing this ooh, really gentle sound and then ooh, connecting it back to the rest of your voice. Okay?
I
That was a bit of a lengthy explanation, but it is in most things when it comes to voice.
understood it.
Okay, that's all good. You have a super strong voice. Hey, you don't need to use your masc voice anymore, do you? At least not in vrchat. Whatever you want to do, really. Have the freedom to do whatever you want with your voice. But if you want to improve fast, use your voice a lot. It's there. Use it. Okay?
All right.
All right. Everyone give a big round of applause to Luna. Woo! All right. I'll see you around, Luna. Have fun with
Bye.
voice work. Bye. Okay, next up on stage, I want to see someone who wants to make their voices sound more masculine. So if you want to make your voice more masculine, please jump in place or raise your hand. All right, we got some people here. Coffee Beans, have you already been on stage before? You're too far. You have to get a bit closer so I can hear you. Yes, come again.
Yes, I have been on stage.
You have? Okay, well, okay. It's hard. I don't want to deny you because I don't see a lot of other people, and I already said no to Dreamal Arch, so I don't know. It's between the two of you. Which one wants to go most? Okay. Fight, fight! No, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Are you really doing a game of paper scissors? You could use the emojis as well. Okay, okay. I'm sorry. I'll have to choose here. I'll have to choose. So, Dreamel was asking first, so I'll let Dreamel come on stage. Is that okay with you, Coffee? All right.
Yeah, I'm chill with that. Yeah, yeah.
All right. I'm sorry about this. Come on, come up on stage, Dreamel. Come on, come on. Big applause to Dreammark. Woo! What was that kind of duel? That was crazy. What?
Yeah.
Okay, I shouldn't do this anymore. That took too much time. Anyways, hi, welcome.
Hi.
All right, setting up a timer now. All right, so you were up on stage last time? Yes, that's crazy.
Yes.
Okay, so
I'm
how
the
has
singing
your...
vote. I'm the singing
Yes, you are.
coach.
Yes, you are. Okay, so how has your voice training been coming along since last time?
Well, I've been
It's been
doing a
just a
lot of
week,
the
but...
yeah. I've been doing a lot of the platypus noise.
Oh, yes,
like you told me.
right.
The
Right? And then were you able to like get away from the from using the trill?
I
and
have
yeah.
I have been trying, but so far there's only like a 2% progress, which is not a lot.
Fair enough. Okay, so we're gonna try maybe something a little bit different. Remind me what your pitch range is like. Okay, so let's see. Okay, let's try this. Match my pitch. Wait, why are you higher than me? I mean, that's like, what, like a fifth? Yeah, that's a fifth. Okay, so just a fifth down. Okay, you're here. Let's match pitch for a second. Lower. Oh gosh, okay. Why are we not matching pitches?
I'm trying.
Okay, maybe it's the stress. Who knows? Okay, try this instead. Okay, so what I want you to do is like kind of like do these like trail downs, like and like we're gonna like cascade them lower and lower. So yes. Okay, and then end on the lower note. And try to hold it there. Yeah. We had A3. Yeah. D sharp 3. Okay, pretty good. We're around like here. Moving down slowly across the spectrum of pitch. Okay. Okay. Very good. All right. One thing I noticed is when you do these pitches is that you sound quite breathy, right?
Yes.
That's your vocal folds not closing enough or you using too much air. I would say that for lower pitches, it's best to use maybe a little bit more air. I mean, it depends. Like, the vocal folds need to vibrate slower, so generally that means they need to be more relaxed. So maybe there's some vocal folds tension that's happening when you go for these lower pitches. After all, they're not common to your usual behavior, to your usual range. Okay. Do you ever practice with like a pitch monitor, by the way?
A what?
A pitch monitor. So like something that like monitors your pitch.
No, I have not.
I would really, really recommend it. You're familiar with music theory. Maybe do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, or maybe C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. But which ones do you use?
I have it on a note somewhere.
Oh my, okay. So I can recommend you some apps here. Do you see the board? Has it loaded for you?
Yes.
Great. What phone do you use? iOS, Android? Very good. My favorite app to go for is Vocal Pitch Monitor. You could technically use voice tools, but I like the fact that Vocal Pitch Monitor just bare bone just pitch. Okay? So you can use Vocal Pitch Monitor, and it will basically like tell you what your voice is at. Also, all of these things are free. So that's why I recommend them. There might be some paid apps. I don't know. I can't vouch for these. So Vocal Pitch Monitor on Android is free as far as I know. Now, what I like to do is typically there is a cool record function to this. So I can go like, okay, I didn't want to turn off my phone. Thank you. So what I can do here is just like hold a note. Then pause. And this will play back through my phone. Just give me the notes. But not only does it give me the note, but it also gives me the pitch. So here I know it was a C4. You could look back at this. And so what I like to do is kind of like go, kind of like do ladders. And if you can't do my range as I just did here, you can start from whatever you start from. So maybe it could be something like, I don't know, like whatever is reliable to you. And, you know, then become more aware of your range, just see how far you can make those stairs of pitch go. And this will help you a lot with achieving a lower pitch. Instead of just going off of vibes or just off of like what you hear from your ear. There's no shame in using some tools to help you just like see where you are. Also, recording functions, so you can actually like record your practice. So that's really useful. So Vocal Pitch Monitor, download it when you're done with this workshop and try playing around with it. Trust me, it's really fun to have actually a visual feedback to your voice. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Okay, and that will be time, but we have done a little to no voice work, so let's just do at least a little bit of reading. Okay, from here. Let's take a minute. Let's take a minute. Just go through some sentences. Okay. Unless you want to go, that's up to you.
No. Let's do this. Let's do this.
But okay, here instead of orienting towards going for the lowest pitch possible, let's try to go for the darkest sound possible first. So even if you get like a high pitched kind of operatic voice from having a darker resonance, bigger vocal tract, but a high pitch, maybe that bigger vocal tract size will help you go lower in pitch, kind of as a terrain that's more permissive for lower pitches. So from here, I want you to give me a pat, 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 thud, cut. Try it out.
Pat, 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 pat.
Okay, that was good. However, you did phonate. So pa, 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 pa. We had pitch there in the way. I want you to really make it so that it's just a stream of air. Pat, pat,
Okay.
pat. Try again.
Pat, 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 pat.
Yes, exactly that at the end. Pat, 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 pat. Same thing as I told before to Tad, is put your hand on your neck and feel for that Adam's apple that drops lower. Pat, 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 pat. Try it out.
Pat, 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 pat.
Good.
Ooh.
And as it reaches that lowest point, pat, 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 pat.
Just keep it there. Pause. Think about it. Don't speak. And then just
go back to your natural voice or your usual voice. Try it out. Yeah, yes. Okay, this is actually the lowest pitch you've done so far, by the way. Oh, this was an F3. Good job. So I was right in that. There's there's like a higher likelihood that you will find lower pitches with a bigger vocal tract. I mean, some pitches just do not want to work together. I think one of the best examples is like, what if I have a really small vocal tract but a really low pitch?
Like I can take a pitch like this, that's pretty low, and I have a big vocal tract, right? So I'm gonna like shrink it, and it's gonna sound really strange. That mad brat, that
mad brat sat on that flat mat. It's not quite feminine. It's just kind of like cartoonish sounding. And there's like a physical reason for this. I won't get too much into this, but basically, imagine you have like your pitch as like a really low frequency, and then like the emphasis of that pitch is extremely far remote in much higher frequencies. You kind of like expect like a like a ratio that's like a little bit closer. And so you can actually see this in the spectrogram if you play around. So that's yet another thing that I won't have time to touch upon. But yes, that F3 you did
with a dark sound.
accidental, but what we want, that was really good. Can we try and go back there?
To that low position, and then try to.
Okay, let's try it again.
Just a whisper, remember? Try to keep it there. Yes, keep it there. And then from there. Okay. That mad brat. Very good. That mad brat.
But I want you to compare that to your brighter voice. It would sound something like, "That's mad brat." So there's actually like a big gap between "That's mad brat" and
That mad brat.
right? That.
That.
So there's a substantial darkness to it. We didn't reach that F3 again, but keep playing around with it, and eventually you might find it. Also use the app I mentioned before, a vocal pitch monitor on Android. It's free. And just use it and play around with it and see how far down you can go in pitch. Okay? All right, that's pretty much it for you. Everyone give a big round of applause to Dream Large! Woo! I like how someone is just doing like clap, 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 clap. All right, next up on stage and last person up on stage, I'm not looking, is I want to see someone who wants to make their voices more feminine. So jump in place. All right, there's a bunch of people. Like it's pretty much everyone. Okay, you jump high. Whisper 2026. Have you already been on stage before? You're really muffled. Could you get closer, please? Come again. No way. All right, come on stage. Come on, come on. Everyone give a big round of applause to Whisper. Woo! All right, welcome to vrchat. Welcome to this crazy little world. All right, so I'll be honest. Wait, you come here for voice feminization, correct?
That's right.
All right, well, you're already done. All right, bye. No, I'm kidding. It's already a really solid
I have
voice.
no practice, so this is I'm just trying my best. I'm a little
Interesting.
nervous.
Okay, you're doing really well, just so you know. Okay, so I mean, you have little to no practice. That's crazy to me. Have your like this is a voice that you've definitely worked on, like at least not, you know, like religiously worked on, but like you didn't start here, did you? Did you start maybe like
Yeah.
Somewhere like here, or
maybe like here, or like did you have a starting
This
voice?
is my natural voice, but this
Your
is just
natural
the
voice
place
is-
I found today.
Okay,
Kind
your
of.
natural voice is pretty high. I'm not gonna lie. Like your natural is like kind of here, right? Like for some people,
it's like all the way down here, you know?
so like okay.
all the way down there.
There you go. But it's not your natural voice. So you're like, I have done no practice, liar. I'm messing with you. But like,
you've done some voice acting maybe, or just like some just for fun maybe, just like mimic cartoon characters.
I like to do voices sometimes, and I looked up an example of like how to like control your larynx. So there's the oh. I just try to feel that and
Yeah.
see if I can stay in a little bit of the higher registers, but
Yes, absolutely. And you're doing great. As you raise your larynx, your vocal tract is becoming smaller. A smaller vocal tract means that the frequencies produced by your vocal folds get more emphasized on the higher end of the frequency spectrum. And that's very good. Let's test your voice a little bit, shall we?
Okay.
I want you to try and read that first sentence on the board. Give it a try.
Hello. Good morning. How are you?
Very good. Hello. Good morning. How are you? Little nitpick here on morning. Morning. On the end there, you kind of like go quite low in pitch and quite dark. Let's try this again. Hello. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Still a little bit iffy. Let's try to slow it down even more. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's go a little bit lower. Morning.
Morning.
Okay, it ends a little bit like how to say? It's a bit hollow. Morning. Like oh, it's a bit breathy maybe. Hello, good morning. Okay, it's not quite there. It's okay. Give it another try. I feel like it's kind of changing each time you say it.
Sorry.
It's okay. You're figuring things out. It's cool.
Hello. Good morning. How are you?
Okay, I think it's the sudden drop in pitch. Morning, morning, right? So you have two options here. You can either like, take it slowly like we did here. But what happens is you actually go into your M2. Let's talk about this actually, what it means. M1 is your modal voice. It's the one where the vocal folds will have a bit more contact. Actually, this is not a one-to-one representation of what it is like, but at least it does kind of show you what thicker vocal folds look like against thinner vocal folds. Thicker vocal folds tend to have more contact due to their increased vocal fold mass that is engaged, right? There's kind of like more muscle flexed in there. Versus a thinner voice where there's less of it, and so, we tend to have much lighter of a sound. When you did hello, good morning, the good is in like this M1 mechanism, which has like a little bit more thickness to it. And when you did the more, you went into this falsetto, which is M2, this other mechanism where the vocal folds tend to have less vocal fold mass. And now you're kind of like, morning. And when you did it slower, you did this, morning. You kind of like got stuck in that M2 register. You didn't go lower back to M1. But when you did, morning, right? It suddenly dropped. Like you kind of like dropped the voice there. So in a way, what you would want to practice is to be able to go across that break without losing that pitch. So basically something like ning, right? Or ning. Good. Right? And as you go above and below, you kind of feel that like you might feel a transition. In your case, it might not be super noticeable. For some people, it's a full-on or right, a sudden drop. I think that's kind of what's happening, because the sound, as in morning, has you push the sound through the nose. Because it does so, you kind of like shift the configuration really fast. The sound, right, forces sound through the nose, so it's like a smaller space or like a different configuration. And so you might have less stability on the sound than you would have on like a, o, e, on like more open vowels, which could have like a little bit less of that like resistance against your voice. But let's move back to these sentences. Okay, all good. So, now I want to see, maybe with a less intonated sentence, you might have an easier time. Can you try to read that second sentence here?
I'll give it my best shot. I'll have a cup of coffee, please.
Very good. I'll have a cup of coffee, please. This sounds great, well intonated. There's no sudden drop like in good morning. Like, this is all good. All right, let's keep going. Try the next one.
I forgot to take my hormones.
Ah, I forgot to take my hormones. Same kind of thing. Every time you go lower in pitch, you're gonna like da 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 da. Like you kind of like drop back. This is a very common occurrence of like newly found voices. You kind of have like this fem voice, which is really high up there, and it's far remote from your masc voice. The problem is, whenever you go to these lower pitches, you never ever speak with them because you always talk all the way up here. So whenever you go lower, da 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 da, you don't have that experience at these lower pitches, or at least you haven't worked on feminizing the lower pitches, right? So, I forgot to take my hormones. Oh, so let's talk about that pitch. Hormone. That's a C#3. It's generally pretty low for most fem voices. My hormones. But we can also feminize it and brighten it. Hormone. Hormones. Right? Like this. But maybe that's a stretch. Like, maybe let's try to aim for something like F3. So, hormones. Da, da. Yes, and just like that, it's completely gone, that issue. So let's try to scale lower. Do, do, down to E3. Hormones. Oh, carefully went too high. So, I mean, like you're avoiding the issue by going higher. Hormones. Yes, very good. Oh, I forgot to take my hormones.
I forgot to take my hormones.
Yes. And we went down to D#3. That was really solid. Good stuff. I want to see if we can try this on morning as well. Let's try this on morning. Morning.
Morning.
Yes, that's very good. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, very good. Good job. Now you fix that issue. You understand the principle a little bit better. It's about making those lower pitches more feminine, or at least in that sense, to keep the vocal tract still quite small when you go for these lower pitches. Of course, you might not want to go like below C3, like B2, A2. These pitches can also be part of feminine voices, but it's not like the most common thing, especially with the pitches that you generally go for here. You go quite high. I don't think you want to go that low in the first place. Other than that, you have a really solid start. Honestly, this is surprising. First day, but really good baseline. Baseline joke, pun intended, I guess, somewhat, because we're not trying to aim for like a like some baseline whatever. So hello, good morning. But you're good here. That was really solid. So main thing I would watch out for is, you notice here I have like some pitch behaviors written down. So most feminine voices tend to go up and down a little bit. So, hello, good morning, how are you? You already kind of do this naturally, so that's not that's not an issue. But careful on the intonation part that goes lower. By the way, it's written as masculine intonation. Not necessarily. I mean, like most masc voices tend to take the like, hello, good morning, how are you? I'll have a cup of coffee, please. Right? Unless you hear like a, I'll have a cup of coffee, please. That feels a bit more like, you know, fruity. But like here, masculine intonation is, you know, more than masculine intonation, I should say, you would want to watch out for that downwards vector of pitch, because that's where the issues happen. You go lower and lower, and as you showed before, your masc voice is really close to your fem voice. So it's even more likely that you will just go to a masc voice. For me, it might have been a little bit easier. My masc voice was
really, really low, right? So between this voice
And this voice, there's like a multitude of like different layers of voices that I had to explore and different pitches that I had to explore, like figure out what works, what doesn't work. So here, the main range that I would say you should work on is like something from like D3 up to E4 and maybe above, depends on what you do. Maybe E3 to C4 might be easier at first, but you have quite some range and you seem to be quite versatile with it, so no worries on that front. But yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. Yeah, watch out for these lower pitches, make sure they're bright. My recommendation is that range, and watch out especially for the pitches D3, E3, and F3, because these are the ones that generally tend to overlap with the masculine voices the most. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, you did really great. Everyone give a big round of applause to Whisper! Woo! What a first day in VR chat that is. Wow. I wish my first day was like this. All right, 1B, Rory, do we got any questions from Twitch or from the Discord? And no Discord question either?
No Discord questions.
All right, all good. I'll take 1 or 2 questions from the audience. So if you want to ask a question, please come closer. So like any voice question whatsoever. All right, Lulu Luna, yes, hello.
Hi, so what I'm wondering is most of these practices involving raising the pitch up, but I was wondering if that also applies the same thing for having a lower pitch?
Depends. You just asked for the pitch up, pitch down? For what application are we talking about? Like,
So implication is having more of a lower pitch, but a feminine voice. Would
yes.
that
So,
apply?
okay, cool. So like you want to like learn how to, that's the wrong slide. Whoops. Yes. Okay, cool. It's like you basically want to go for like a more lower fem voice. Like I'm assuming like around this range, right? From what I'm hearing from your voice, that seems to be the case. Correct me if I'm wrong. And you're asking like how this applies, like this kind of pitch vector, or how the like what's the more precise question on this?
Do the practices apply instead of going higher, you just go lower?
Instead of going higher, just go lower. Okay.
Sorry, this
Depends
is
what you want to do. No, it's okay. It's okay. It depends what you want to do. Like let's say, is it that you want a fem voice that intonates lower? Like, do you want a fem voice that goes lower, that starts high and eventually ends low? Like, do you want to like use a downward vector with a fem voice? Like, kind of like in a way to be more direct instead of being a little bit more like floaty and moving up and around? Or is it that you want to do a more intonated voice, but at a lower pitch? So like have this really intonated voice that kind of like goes up and down, but at lower pitches, right? This is maybe a better way to reframe it. The first one. So yeah, this works absolutely fine. This is actually something I teach a lot with my students, especially those that are like in professional environments where they need to be heard and where they need to be understood. Typically, like what you want to do is like you start high in pitch and you kind of like end up lower. Like this is more kind of like a office voice, you know, not customer service, but like just an office voice. Like, here, boss, are the documents. Yes, I sent you the email. You want to go grab some coffee together? Well, that's a question, so that doesn't really apply. But like, if you just want to say a statement, you want to start high and kind of like end up lower. So in that case, that practice does apply too. Although you might notice that the lower in pitch you go, the more difficult it gets to keep like your voice louder, typically, because the lower in pitch you go, the more likely you are to reach a masculine sound. And that is mostly because lower pitches tend to require more vocal fold mass, and well, not necessarily, but to have like a textured lower pitch, you kind of have to go for heavier vocal fold mass. You could get away with having a lower voice that's really gentle and like that uses like a lot of creak, for example. So like that could work. One thing that you want to be careful with is that you don't want to overshoot the brightness. As I mentioned or showed before to I think it was Dreamel, it was that
if you take this pitch here, like my vocal tract is not like super big, but it's not like super small either, because super small sounds kind of like strange and like kind of like a little goblin in a box, right?
Like too large just sounds like masculine.
So like it's like a middle ground kind of that kind of sounds bright enough, but not too bright to avoid that kind of like squeeze the buzzy effect. And like technically you can like go for that voice and like try to reduce the vocal fold mass a lot, but then most people will not be able to hear you. So different challenges than higher voices, I would say. But like the main takeaway is, yes, you do want to be brighter, at least brighter than masc voices. I think you should work more in reference to the masc voice. So like it's good to like kind of bounce back and forth, like that's a bitch. A2 here. That mad brat. That mad brat. Rather than trying to work off of like the highest, brightest voice, the brightest voice on the lowest pitch. Okay, that was a lengthy answer, but the question was a bit confusing too. So I hope that answered your query.
It did help clear some things. Thank you.
All right, you're very welcome. Lovely voice. All right, awesome. So, I'll take one more question. Who wants to ask a question? Maybe Coffee Beans, because you didn't get to get on stage. Okay, Coffee Bean, come closer. What's your question about?
Hello.
Hello.
I wanted to ask, when I try to do like the vocal exercises like on my own, like trying to go down into very deep pitch, and I try to like open up like my mouth more to have like a wider space to get like a deeper sound. I oftentimes end up yawning a lot. So I don't know if that's just something that I need to like get used to, and like all like it comes with practice, or if there's like some kind of method that I can do to like try and help that not happen.
Nah, you'll be sleepy till the end of your life. I'm sorry.
Okay.
This still happens to me a lot too. Like, it's just a psychological response. Like, I'm sure someone yawned because I yawned, and like I would bet quite high on this, because like just. It's something that just kind of like spreads. It's pretty infectious of a sound to do, and it's not only hearing other people do it. It's just kind of like generally kind of like unhinging your jaw a little bit and like opening your throat more and all that stuff. Eventually, your body will be done with yawning, because the whole purpose of yawning is to, empty your lungs from all the excess CO2. So eventually, your lungs will be full of air and it's gonna be fine. But yeah, like generally speaking, that should not be an issue. I would maybe say that going for a bigger mouth might hinder your progress. At least maybe like going for like just a more neutral mouth position might help with the yawn aspects a lot more. Because I'm guessing like it's also like a psychological kind of bias / effect that's caused from like unhinging your jaw maybe a little bit, because like you can like, well, you don't unhinge it, but you know what I mean, like you just like lower it a lot more than its natural position.
And like you don't want to like keep your mouth too big, because then like you can kind of hear it that your mouth is kind of like way too big for what it's meant to be. Even if like you're brighter, like
it's kind of like an accent that you're introducing to your mouth. So I would kind of advise against it, just so you keep a more natural sound. Most of the darkness should be achieved by lowering the larynx. Some things you can do to increase your mouth space, not so much the lowering of the jaw, but more so like the lowering of the tongue. So maybe someone yawned too. So like the lowering of the tongue will help keeping your lips more rounded. That works too. Well, not too rounded, because then you have like a similar issue, like you sound like you're pouting all the time. So things in moderation. But yes, I would definitely recommend that you maybe avoid the big dropped mouth, maybe to avoid the yawns. And eventually it might go away. I don't know, because for me, my whole practice is to go really bright. You have to ask someone who has done this practice of darkening their voices for a long, long time. So yeah, there's like not a lot of data on like trans masc voice use, because there's not lot of you that do consider voice training. A lot of people just go for the testosterone directly. But like, yeah. So it's still a bit new territory still, I would say. So yeah, I hope that helps you out.
Yeah, it did. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. All right, and Babidi, do you have a little short question?
Oh no, sorry, I was just listening in.
That's okay. All right. Sorry for the yawns. Hope you're not too sleepy. And with that, we're ready to wrap up. So, thank you so much, Wannabe and Rory, for helping me run this workshop. Couldn't do it without you. With your help, we had so many people today, and that's really great. So, hi Twitch, I hope you enjoyed this. Hi Discord, I hope you're listening and you're practicing because you're muted and you're kind of like in your seat and, you know, just practice your voice. Don't forget about it. But all of that, jokes aside, I hope you all enjoyed this workshop. So everyone, please say bye to YouTube and bye to Twitch. Bye YouTube. Bye Twitch. Bye bye. All right. All right, and with that said, we can shut down the stream, and I'll just do the end of the workshop blurble. So for all of you who are not familiar with this, I do these workshops every Sunday. So yeah, next Sunday I'll be here, the Sunday afterwards I'll be here, and yeah, I'll keep teaching these till the end of my life. Maybe, hopefully, we'll see. But yeah, if you liked this, you know, and maybe you want more of me, I have a Discord server called Scientifically Augmented Voice. You can join it by clicking on my bio here in vrchat, and it's a link that brings you directly to my Discord server. Also, I have a Discord server on which I do public lessons. That's the one I linked you to. And if you want, I do like those public lessons. They're free to listen to, so you can just like listen to extra stuff there. They're not having that often recently, but you know, it is what it is. I also have like a really helpful community and like a clip feedback channel if you want to get even more help than what you get from the Trans Academy Discord already. I also offer private and public lessons, so if you want to know about my pricing and my scheduling and stuff like that, just hit me up on Discord, either in my Discord server or just in DMs at savvy_sav, just like this, but all in lowercase. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this one. Let me do the end blurble for real now. Hi y'all, I'm Savvy. I teach voice feminization as well as
Voice masculinization.
I also teach singing, voice acting, and a little funky thing called human beatboxing, with sounds such as so if you learn any of these crazy cool zipper sounds, you can always, you know, shoot me a message on Discord. Or voice training as well. Yeah, fem voice, that's the main thing. Fem voice, masc voice. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this one. I'll catch you next Sunday. You'll have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I'll see you around. Bye, you all.